Thank you for watching Ben Television, and my name is Shegun Johnson. I'm still here with Nat. Nat, I thank you for staying, but Dr. Shoyode has gone to do some very important things, and so we are two in the studio. But we want to connect you with Nigeria right now. We want to talk with Professor Jerry Gana, the presidential candidate for Social Democratic Party. Let me see if we have him on Skype right now. Studio, can you connect me with Nigeria on Skype with Professor Jerry Gana? We want to ask him basic issues, how he will tackle matters, and the Social Democratic Party itself. They accepted him as their own presidential candidate, and so we will be discussing that with him. Please get your questions ready, because this year, before the presidential election, we want to interview as many as possible, so that you can then, if you are not particularly happy with PDP and APC, you could change your mind and vote for the new ones. Who knows what will happen? Millions of Nigerians may change their mind and say they want other parties, and that will be good for our democracy. While we're trying to connect with Nigeria, tell us about Professor Jerry Gana. He was not the one elected by the Social Democratic Party. Donald Duke, the former governor in Cross River State for 8 years, was elected on vote by vote, but Jerry Gana went to the court and said no, Donald Duke, by the constitution of their party, was not supposed to contest the election, and he contested the election and he won, but the court reversed that victory and said Jerry Gana should have been the one to contest and not Donald Duke. And today Jerry Gana is the only presidential candidate that we know for SDP. So who is this Jerry Gana, and why is he having this challenge?
Professor Jerry Gana has been around for quite some time. He was a lecturer in Ahmadu Bello University in the 80s before he joined DFRI, Directorate of Food and Rural Infrastructure, as a consultant. And then eventually he became the chairman of MAMSA, Mass Mobilization Outfit, during Babangida's regime. Thereafter, I think sometime 1987 or thereabout, he was an aspirant, a presidential aspirant under we had a Social Democratic Party then. Sponsored by the government. Sponsored by the government, two parties, SDP, NRC, one to the left, one to the right. And he contested, but he lost to late Moshood Abiola. May his soul rest in peace. And the June 12th thing, which is now being revived last year. It was revived last year, but a proclamation was not made as to say that Abiola won that election. So the military came in. He also served in the military regimes of
Abacha?
Before then, he was in the military regime of Ibrahim Babangida. He was in INEX, Shonekan's regime to ING. And also Abacha's regime, until when Abacha passed on and Absalami was around for 9 months. Then when politics was returned fully, they formed the PDM, which metamorphosed into the
PDM is People's Democratic Movement.
Which metamorphosed into PDP. They were the foundation members of PDP. Professor Jerry Gana, late Alex Ikwome,
and then Dr. Ayu. What made him leave PDP?
He left PDP when there was serious crisis in PDP. We remember Boni Sharif, who was temporarily chairman
of PDP.
When PDP finally got their self back through Supreme Court judgment, they now had to do a national convention in Port Harcourt to elect a national chairman.
Yeah, and Secondus won.
And Secondus won, and Professor Daniel lost. And then they moved on. That is how.
That is our usual thing.
Yeah.
You lost in a party,
Yes,
that's it.
that's how he left PDP to SDP.
Okay.
Yes.
And SDP is led by Chief Falaye.
Olufalaye is the national chairman of the SDP.
Now, when we connect with Professor Gana, I want to ask him questions.
Yes.
His own relationship with Olufalaye.
Yeah.
And we want to know whether SDP could find any foot. But we must not forget that SDP, through Omishore in Osun State, handed Osun State to APC. APC lost that election with Oguntola as the governor, but somehow SDP was the one that was used to hand over that state to APC. Do you think SDP could be a spoiler like that again?
Well, the Osun thing, we have not had the last thing yet.
Yes, in court.
That is in court. So I think maybe we'll just keep our gunpowder dry until we hear from,
I was just thinking, do you think SDP is the new third force?
Yeah, strongly speaking, the SDP, as we said earlier, SDP has been around for quite some time.
Yeah.
And after June, I think it was June 2018, when Buhari recognized and awarded national honors to late MK Abela and Baba Gana Kingibe. It was now a rallying point for the former SDP party to resurrect and rally around their people, their former senators, their governors, their National Assembly members who are busy working underground. You could also remember that Falaye contested presidential elections
against
with
Obasanjo, and he lost.
And he lost. And so they are now here with a new message they are giving on to Nigerians, and the message is saying there's going to be social re-engineering.
You mean the SDP?
Yeah.
But the same way, do you think they have the structure to monitor all the polling units and get people in 36 local government at 6 states and all the local governments therein? The same question appears to them, isn't it?
Yes, but it's likely it's safer to say they will be able to resurrect their structures they had.
Okay, safe.
Because those individuals are still around.
Well, let's wait for the man.
Yes.
While we're waiting for him,
yes.
Let's talk about the corruption, anti-corruption of Buhari administration and how it is being challenged. Many have agreed that corruption will fight back, and it fights back to open your own Pandora box as well. So if no Pandora box for Mr. Buhari is open by his perceived enemies, then they want to open the one for his family members. And it appears that that is what we have in the Funtua story. Can you tell our viewers this Funtua story as it appears? Now, we want to say that it has not put President Buhari in any jeopardy, but then they said he's a relative. Please tell our viewers.
Yeah, they are. You remember this time when the president was sick?
Yeah.
And I think, he was on medical tour here in the UK. You remember there were clips flying about. There was a particular one where the CBN governor was bending his ears to listen to what somebody was saying.
Yeah.
That anybody who saw that clip, that person, the CBN governor, was bending to listen to was Alhaji Ismaila Funtua.
Okay.
Yes, that is Funtua elder, Funtua senior. He has a son too, son to Ismaila. But Ismaila is the one that is known. He's a building contractor.
Okay.
And he had a company called Bullet Construction Company based in Abuja in the 70s and the 80s. And he participated in building, in construction, some of these major federal government contractors.
Yeah.
But I think along the line, he had some challenges financially when he took a loan from the bank, one or two banks, and could not pay back. And those banks, I think Union Bank especially, took the case to court, and they had an injunction to sell his properties. There was a court ruling to that effect. But because of his relation and closeness to...
Okay, we will continue on this. I understand the Skype is ready. Please connect me. Let's say hello to the professor. Oh, good morning, Professor. Is it good afternoon in Nigeria?
Well, in Nigeria, it's good afternoon, and I wish you a very happy new year. How are you?
I'm very fine, Prof. So great to hear you. I was trying to get your picture, but I think I'll get it very soon. But with me in the studio is Nat Iyako. Hello, say hello to Prof.
Good afternoon, Prof.
Oh, hello. How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Hello, so good to see. Happy New Year.
Same to you, sir.
Happy New Year, Prof.
You're looking so good. Ben television must be very good to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Let's get straight to business, Prof. You are the presidential candidate of Social Democratic Party.
Yes, I am, by the grace of God, and the order of the body. Yes, I'm the presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party.
Yes, sir. We want to ask you a few questions so that our viewers all over the world. By the way, this is a live television, so you are seen all over the world at this moment.
Thank you very much, Ben Television.
So, sir, is it true that you and your chairman, you are having a challenge? What is the position of Chief Olufalaye and you being the presidential candidate?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a challenge. The position is that I went to court because the constitution of the party is very, very clear that the position of the chairman, national chairman of the party, and that of the president cannot be in the same zone of Nigeria. Therefore, at the issue, the chairman and those who are the leaders of the party should have really made it abundantly clear for candidates from the southern part of Nigeria. At this time around, according to our own constitutional provision, candidates should really come from either North Central or Northeast or Northwest. That was initially done. In fact, the chairman went and gave a very, very clear interview, which was very well carried by the national media before the convention. So that was a very clear understanding. How these matters then arose, we didn't know, and therefore our people insisted we should really get a judicial interpretation of this constitutional provision. And we got the judgment. The judgment was very clear, very logically, given, and it was very, very well received by the generality of our party people, because that is what the expectation really was. Therefore, there is no challenge as such. It just appeared to me there are one or two vested interests here and there. For example, the national secretary of the party, who ought to be neutral, because I'm a member of the party, should be defending me as well. But because he's a running mate, I think he has a vested interest and is not protecting my interest at this time. He's totally protecting the interest of someone just 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the convention. If anybody needed to be
okay, Prof, I think your explanation is very straightforward and is acceptable to many people. We want you to know that many electorates in Nigeria, they're looking for a third force. And, SDP appears to have a greater structure to be this third force, given the structure on the ground of many other newer parties. But the challenge is, to what extent should people believe in you now, knowing that you have a challenge within your party, and especially the way Omishore behaved in Osun State? How do you want to convince us that you are this third force we are looking for?
Well, there are a number of aspects of this. First and foremost, most party members, most Nigerians know that I'm a very serious member of the Social Democratic Party. In fact, the chairman of the steering committee, when we came in April, popularized the party. So the new SDP really, if the truth is told, was mobilized largely by those who were brought in under the new political order. Secondly, most Nigerians know that I've served the nation in very, very distinguished positions. And I thank God that I have that reputation of being someone who is on the side of excellence, on the side of sound policies, on the side of democracy, on the side of doing things right. So if this was not right, I wouldn't be pushing it at all. We know, and the people are delighted that we are laying solid foundation for a rule-based democracy. Democracy must be in accordance with the rule of law. Otherwise, it should be according to the whims and caprices of a few people. That shouldn't be the case. So I want to assure Nigerians, both at home and abroad, that we certainly provide a credible alternative. Because not only are we Democrats to the core, we love the people of Nigeria, we understand the situation of Nigeria, we've designed programs that will move Nigeria forward. And if I have an opportunity on this interview, I would like to really get those programs, because Nigeria is a serious position. We must move this nation forward. And this issue of candidature will soon be resolved, because most Nigerians were really very happy.
May we know if SDP is represented in all the 36 states of Nigeria and the local governments of Nigeria?
SDP is very well represented in every state of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, yes. You know, we won election before. This is the second coming of the SDP. And when we came and they saw the credibility of the leadership and those of us who are involved, many people moved in. I want to assure you we are in every state of the Federal Republic. Yes.
Okay, we want to ask you questions concerning Nigeria. Now that you have given us a good foundation, we want to ask you certain questions. Now that insecurity has overtaken corruption in Nigeria, how do you want to tackle the state of insecurity in Nigeria, taking Boko Haram, Zamfara, Plateau killings, and all the abductions? How do you intend to tackle it if you are elected the president of Nigeria?
Thank you very much. We take the matter of security very seriously, not only because of the very clear constitutional provision, because the founding father, the framers of the Constitution, made it abundantly clear that the security and welfare of the people is the primary purpose of government. And that is very, very much in order, because the people matter more than things. Therefore, in our own programs, we have a 5-point program. Security is number one. Security re-engineering is what is our number one program. We made it number one because we did a national survey, and uppermost in the minds of many Nigerians are resolving this matter of security. And we have a number of proposals within the agenda which we've already presented to the nation, which we codenamed SWIFT. The S there stands for Security Re-engineering. There are a number of aspects. First of all, we believe that the national security agencies must be restructured in such a way that they're efficient and effective. Secondly, we must reform the Nigeria police. It's amazing that with about 180 million Nigerians, we'll have less than 500,000 police. So Nigeria is under police. They don't have the manpower. Beyond that, they don't have the equipment. In fact, some of the armed robbers and some of these people causing trouble, they are more, as it were, equipped than some of our own police forces. Therefore, we intend to reorganize the police in such a way that we also enlarge the numbers to an average of about 25,000 for each state, because unless you have the officers and men and women in the police force, you cannot really, as it were, bring about this security. National development, national defense may be national, security is local. You have to be present in every part of the Federal Republic. and we have 774 local governments. So we want to reorganize in such a way that we have sufficient police officers and other ranks right across the nation. But then not just the officers and other ranks, but providing the weaponry, the equipment, including the technology, the latest technology of fighting crime, and also let them be mobile. In most cases, the police are not even mobile. They can't move from one area to another because the vehicles and things for moving around are not as many as they should be.
Okay,
Therefore,
Prof.
we have these levels of reorganization.
Prof,
and we should reorganizing
still on security.
Community police.
Okay, still on security, Prof. Still on security, Prof. It appears that the present administration is following the policy of containment. That is, they are allowing Boko Haram to sit on our soil, the Nigerian soil. We have under good authority that at least 10 local governments are under Boko Haram, and these are this is Nigerian soil. Will your administration, if you are elected a president, terminate the whole of Boko Haram or any other terrorism from Nigeria?
We agree entirely, and that should really, and that is our program, because this is taking a very serious issue. Therefore, we have a comprehensive program of dealing with the Boko Haram challenge. You would agree with me that at this point, it's not wise to release the specific aspects of that program, but we've got a team under some very brilliant retired officers who have understood this situation. They've also gone abroad. One or two of them are abroad right now. Yes. Our program for dealing with this is comprehensive, is effective. It's such that when we really do it within a few weeks, this will be a matter of history.
All right.
But the details of it, we cannot release now. Otherwise, the people who are fighting will also now reorganize and they change their own tactics. But I want to assure Nigerians that we've studied the situation, we've brought up a program, and this will be done with intensively, comprehensively, and swiftly.
Okay, fair enough, Prof. Let's quickly move on to economy. We have been told that 89 million Nigerians are in poverty, over 25 million in unemployed. I believe there are more than that, but that is what the statistics say. How do you intend to lift poverty out of Nigeria as soon as possible if you are elected the president?
Thank you very much. That is the second program. I'm so delighted you've asked that question, because our second focus we've termed wealth creation. We believe that the issue of poverty is so serious, it's so severe. Matters of unemployment are so serious and so severe that what we need to do at this point is really to have a set of programs that would create wealth within the Federal Republic of Nigeria, generate jobs, and ensure that the nation's economy is moving actively to create wealth, to create employment, to create income.
How do you intend to create jobs? What will you do to create jobs?
Yes, I was just giving a preface. We're coming to that.
Okay.
Number one, we believe that we need to really ensure that the kind of policy that would allow investors from within and outside Nigeria to freely want to really invest in Nigeria, we create that environment. People have the resources, they want to invest because the return on investment in Nigeria is very, very high. And therefore, people know that this is an economy with such a huge market, such a huge economy, they would like to invest here. What is worrying them is that they want to have the rule of law. They want to know that there is security and safety. They want to know that investments are well looked after and they won't lose it. That is the kind of thing we want to provide. We want to provide security, the security of their investment, rules-based system in such a way that the rule of law is very clear. And particularly when people have disputes, it shouldn't take years to resolve them. It should be a matter of days or even months. So that is number one, to really allow investors to come in and then direct such investment to the productive sectors of the national economy. Secondly, there are very serious opportunities within the agricultural sector because millions of our people are on the farms. We want to be able to identify a few critical export or cash crops, we'll call them, that people can grow, export, and resources are flowing. Thirdly, our mineral resource base. is such that we are not really investing and developing our mineral resources. The mineral resources of Nigeria can provide a base for an industrial growth center for every state of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Beyond that, even every local government. We have in that our program that will be able to actually create a center of growth in each of the 774 local governments. And then the housing sector. The housing sector has been neglected in Nigeria, and you know, in every economy, one of the things that really causes the economy to grow and generate income and jobs is the housing sector. Because the housing, building one house alone involves a number of artisans, a number of professionals. So, and Nigeria has a shortage of nearly 19 million, housing in terms of housing needs. So that's the major sector.
How about electricity? How about electricity? Yeah.
Can I go on?
Yes, please. How about electricity? We're waiting. What will your party do concerning electricity?
So we believe that this can be done by making sure that we also now create efficient infrastructure, which the critical part of which will be power supply.
Yeah.
Because if we are able to really generate, transmit, and distribute electricity in such a way that every part of Nigeria there is sufficient power supply, Nigerians are brilliant. They are hardworking. If they have the energy and they have the power supply, many of them would have so many jobs created for themselves. So the power sector, but beyond the power sector, we believe that the economy
Prof, one thing. We want to hear how you will generate and distribute it. That has always been our problem. Do you have something in place to tell Nigerians, look, the Jonathan administration got it wrong, all other administrations got it wrong, the present administration got it wrong. What are you going to do? Is it in the distribution or is it in the generation? What are you going to do differently? Otherwise, you said there will be power supply, but we want to know how you will tackle the real problem of the power supply sector.
Well, thank you very much. Fortunately, when I left over, I've been in the power sector for the past 12 years. Myself and Professor Naji were really one of those who really tried and did our best to put in. So, the three major sectors of the power sector itself, the three main are the generation, transmission, and distribution.
Yes.
It would appear that the critical problem now is at the side of distribution, because the distribution networks are not efficient enough to be able to, as it were, absorb all the power being generated and transmitted to them. And therefore, that will be our starting point this time around to make sure that we have efficient distribution, and then each consumer will be able to have prepaid meter. Right now, many of them don't. And like we have the telecom revolution side, it was that card that people were able to buy credit.
Yes.
Saying that was what really released a lot of income into that sector. Now the prepaid meter would allow consumers to know what they are consuming and then to pay. That is a very, very important side. Right now, the distribution side is a serious problem. We intend to rectify that, make sure that we have an excellent distribution. But what also go beyond that, to the issue of generation and transmission, because electricity cannot be stored. As you generate, you have to transmit immediately. So we want to assure you, and we thank God that in Nigeria, all the fuel sources for generating electricity are available. Is it gas? We have gas reserve. Is it hydro? We have hydro power potentialities. In terms of solar energy, we have it. In terms of coal, we have it. Therefore, we have so many sources. So power generation shouldn't be a problem. So the network now will be putting in high transmission lines to be able to transmit the power generated either from hydro, from gas, or from coal, or from solar, or from whatever source immediately to the main consumption centers. And I want to assure you that the program we have will be able to generate rapidly, and I mean rapidly.
Okay, Prof. I think
Prof, parts of Nigeria.
Prof, anyone listening to you will give you kudos on that. Let's quickly move to the area of oil subsidy. This is something that the Obasanjo administration spent about 300 million naira to subsidize, and then it went to billions under Jonathan administration. Now, under the present administration, it's got to trillion naira to subsidize all that we have.
Unfortunately.
So how do you intend to rectify this? Because it's beyond imagination. The Nigeria
Yes,
is
I know.
paying 1 trillion naira under the present non-corrupt administration. So how do you intend to address that?
We intend to address this on a number of aspects. First and foremost, fundamentally from the side of supply.
Yeah.
There is a huge demand. Unfortunately, we do have the raw materials in terms of the oil, in the oil reserves.
Yes.
What we lack and we must create, and we have the capability to do so, is really to have more refineries in Nigeria. There's a sense in which over the years we've neglected that critical sector, and then we are now bringing in refined products into Nigeria. That was a very wrong policy. We believe it is possible, and one or two people in the private sector are already in this area. We intend to supplement, and so that we have enough supply being refined internally. So that is number one. Number two, there is a lot of corruption within the system. A lot of people are being really enriched because of this whole system. We have studied it. We know exactly what is going on. And I want to assure you, within the first 100 days, we'll resolve this problem of corruption in that sector. We've studied it very seriously because I was in government when we initially studied that and tried to put in a few agencies. Few of them are still surviving, but there is still a lot of corruption in that sector. But beyond that, we believe that there is a lot of movement out of the Nigerian economy, a fuel that was supposed to really be for the economy, because our borders are so porous. We are really, as it were, producing and making available for almost the rest of West Africa.
Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately.
In which, when we are really making arrangement for supply, it shouldn't just be for the Nigerian market, it will be almost for the West African market.
Prof, let me compliment what you have just said. There is a very small village close to Republic of Benin, and yes, it was consuming more petrol than the whole of Lagos State. So that says you.
Well, thank you very much for that.
Yeah, but we want to ask you. We want to ask you two serious questions. The present administration is trying to get 30,000 naira for the minimum wage, and all the state governors are saying we don't have that money. How do you intend to remove poverty from those receiving 30,000 naira, which meant nothing, because when 18,000 naira was acceptable, it was naira. Naira was about 180 to $1. Now we have 360 naira to $1. So the value of the naira has gone down, and now we're trying to refuse them 30,000 naira minimum wage. What would be your president's position if you were elected?
Okay, let me first of all agree that honestly Nigerian workers are underpaid. That's it is not fair, it is not proper, it's not correct. We should really, as it were, make sure that we have a kind of a wage system that will allow Nigerians to be able to live in a very decent way. So I don't think it is too high to really go for the level which has been agreed now. What we intend to do are as follows. The states are too dependent on the federal government. In a federation, the federating units are very powerful center, not just of governance, but also of income generation. And what we have in our wealth creation program is to make sure that we identify for each state a very powerful way of producing, either in agricultural products or industrial products or solid minerals. There is no state in the Federal Republic of Nigeria that is not well endowed. All we need to do is to make sure that this state gets back to their areas instead of just waiting for federal allocation to generate their own source of income, and they'll be able to pay substantially the salaries. Secondly, we believe that there are a number of financing mechanisms which we've identified. Again, we don't want to give the details when we're in government, we want to implement immediately, but we've identified very, very serious sources that federal government can use in the interim, can assist the states before the industrial growth strategy that we are putting in place come to fruition. That is our secret. And I want to assure you, when we get in, we would apply it in such a way that there will be very, very integrated system. So there will be no state that we will not be able to cope. But realistically, we also have to say this, that certainly it is cheaper in some states of Nigeria to live there than to live like Lagos or Kano or Onitsha or Abuja. So if there are certain variations here and there in terms of the wages paid to workers, I think the state government, this is where this restructuring comes in.
Okay, tell us about restructuring.
This matter of restructuring is not really something that should be taken very lightly. We believe in it because our forefathers, our founding fathers were correct. In a country as complex as Nigeria, only a federal system can function properly. But the federal system as it is now is over-concentrated on the center. There must be, therefore, the kind of restructuring that will allow the devolution of power, the devolution of function to the federating units. For goodness sake, what is the federal government doing in primary school, in the primary health center? That is what is to be done by the states and the federating units. So we believe that restructuring should do three things. First and foremost, we must generate the kind of consensus that will allow Nigerians to know which are the federating units. Are they the states? Are they regions? Are there some provinces? Let's agree. And when we agree, we settle that matter of the structure. For now, many of us believe the states have come to stay. Therefore, let's reach a consensus.
Okay, Prof, because of lack of
functions is extremely important.
Thank you, Prof. Because of lack of time, can we quickly zoom into education? Now, education is so poorly maintained in Nigeria, and at the moment, ASU is on strike. Polytechnics and the education sector is just not what we had envisaged back from 1960s. But the educational sector is so poorly maintained that nobody will want to send his child to a public primary school, public secondary school, and even the universities, they're becoming a menace to the universal education known all over the world.
Thank you very much. I'm so glad that as if our 5-point program has already been presented to you. That's really that is the name of our program, because the S is for security, the W is for wealth creation, the I is for infrastructure excellence and power supply, and then the F and the SWIFT is really fighting corruption. And then this issue of technology, education, and human development is a very critical sector. And I want to thank you very much for really drawing the attention to it. No nation can develop without refining and educating the human resources of the country. And Nigerian education was good. I mean, some of us, we schooled here. And after getting our first degrees here, we went abroad and we were still excellently well received wherever we went. Some of us went to Oxford and all of us did well. So the Nigerian educational system can be very, very good. Therefore, it's the restoration of that excellence. And I wish we had the time. We have all it takes, because fortunately, I come from the education sector. Recently, I was given the privilege to be the Pro-Chancellor of the University of Lagos, and you go to University of Lagos, a few things that we try to do to restore academic excellence there. The first is really the facilities. The teacher-student ratio in Nigerian university is one of the worst in the world. It's very, very bad. There's no way in which any student can learn in that kind of relationship. In some areas, it's almost 1 to 300. So the facilities in terms of teachers, we now have to massively increase the number of teachers, university teachers also, because we have to start at that level to be able to really attack the problem, to produce. Secondly, facilities in terms of the labs, in terms of the lecture halls, in terms of other facilities that will make learning, possible and so on. And then the equipment. It's extremely important that we do so. TED Fund is doing quite a lot now, but we intend to really reinvigorate and add even greater power to the fund, which is really
what advice?
So education, but we have to go all the way down to the primary school, and our own program looks at it very, very important, because education is very critical.
What advice will you give now? What will you do to make the lecturers go back to work? I mean, the children are sitting down at home. What will you do for these lecturers to go back to work?
Yes. Honestly, I wish people, listen. Most of the lecturers, all they want from the authorities to be listened to be taken seriously. for their own ideas to be listened to. I think some of our officials sometimes maybe they are too. I don't know. When I was pro-chancellor for 4 years, we related so well. I would listen because that's what I'm there for. They come and we discuss so that we take action long before a problem becomes a problem. Those strikes for 4 years, there are no strikes. In the University of Lagos, one of the centers of problem. But then what I'm saying there is that these academics, they are men and women who are men of ideas. They want to be listened to. They want you to argue with them. They want you to reach a conclusion which is acceptable. So we think that the government should really not only listen, but when agreements are reached, agreements should be implemented. They shouldn't take you for a ride. And therefore, I believe that if they do that, listen to the lecturers, come to a conclusion, and then do their very best to implement the conclusions effectively, they will go back to work. These are our people. We know them. They love Nigeria. They are patriotic. They love their students. They don't want to be on this strike just for the fun of it.
I just wanted to make a comment on this statement. Someone told me over the weekend that the strike, the ASU strike, is a bit political, that the government will not want it rushed back and be settled because if the students should go back to the university, the PDP in opposition will quickly utilize the aggregation of the students and use it against them. Will you think that's the correct position now?
No, I don't think. Nobody should politicize education. This is the future of our children that are talking about, our grandchildren. Nobody should politicize it. And I don't know what the realities are, but I think this government, they should really first, they promised Nigerians a lot of things, and one of the things they promised was that area of education. If they fail to deliver, let them now sit and discuss and not use anybody, any party, any section of Nigeria as an excuse. But I don't know the details.
The health sector.
Go ahead.
Concerning the health sector, okay. What will you do differently that the president of Nigeria will stay in Nigeria to be attended to by the medical group in Nigeria rather than traveling abroad? The political elites will not go to India or Germany. What will you do differently that the medical system in Nigeria will be good for all Nigerians, including the political elite and every other person?
Thank you very much. That again is a very, very important observation, and we've designed a program because we have a tremendous respect for the welfare of our people, and health is a very, very profound part of that welfare. Fortunately for Nigerians, we have one of the best trained medical, officers.
Personnel, yeah.
Many of them are abroad.
Yeah.
A lot of them are abroad.
That's correct.
In Britain, in North America, in Canada. In fact, Canada is the new growth area. We've known that our Nigerian doctors are very good. So that is one area we believe that we can encourage many of these because they love their country, they love what they're doing. But as long as we can provide the facilities that are necessary for them to be able to do their work excellently. Yeah. Many of them, even if they are not returning, they want to give their service to their own people. That is one area, and that will be a reverse brain drain, and the number of them will come. But the facilities, in terms of the power supply, in terms of the medical equipment, in terms of the hospitals, and the reference hospitals must be excellent and good. And we intend to do that and make sure that many of those who are abroad now, who are already well trained, because to get a doctor, it takes some time to train. That's why we want to attack it from attracting those who are there to really give their service in the interim, while we are raising more people in the medical health sector. That is the echelon in terms of the reference point. Believe you me, Nigerian hospital can be some of the best if we can provide the facilities and the medical experts. They will be able to do excellently abroad. They will do better here if really we provided the facility. But then there should be also a network apart from the reference hospitals that should be well equipped. There should be a whole general provision of general hospitals.
Okay.
Very close to the people.
Oh,
apart from the primary health centers.
Thank you very much, Prof.
This is extremely important. So
I still have one more question for you. I still have one more question for you.
Minister, pardon me. Let me just put in this, that we know from our own study from our interaction that Nigerians in diaspora love Nigeria. They want to come back. They want to help Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Therefore, part of what we are doing, apart from creating these centers, is to create what we term diaspora cities.
Wow.
Because they want to give them an opportunity to settle in.
Will you give us an opportunity to vote as well?
They get so harassed. We want to really go in such a way that it becomes very attractive for Nigerian experts to come home. And I did that when I was at the University of Lagos. Within the few months, I set up what I call scholars hostels for those who are visiting professors. All those places that are built now, they are all full because they come, accommodation is ready. So we are going to build diaspora cities in Abuja, in Lagos, in some of the places to make it attractive. You come there, you are just living in London, away from London.
Actually, Prof, many diasporas want to come home. It's only that they are no longer used to blackouts and poor roads and insecurity. They're not used to it anymore. But I want to ask you a serious question concerning the foreign policy of Nigeria. In the present and the last administration, we have not got a focused foreign policy. In times past, the Nigerian foreign policy was so much focused that one could put it in only one word: anti-apartheid. Since apartheid has been erased in South Africa, so to speak, we've not had any focused foreign policy, and that has not given us a way to maneuver and work among the committee of states. What will be your government's foreign policy that everybody will be able to latch on and say, this is who we are in the Committee of Nations?
Thank you very much. One thing that Nigerians have to come to terms with is that given our numbers, given our size, and given the capacity of Nigerians, leadership in Africa, whether we like it or not, is something we just have to take seriously. We are the natural leaders in Africa. And therefore, our own foreign policy will really be very focused on African integration, African unity, so that there will be solidarity at home. And so when we were in government in the Obasanjo era, I was the Minister of Cooperation and Integration. We had a number of programs to really encourage regional integration, because there's so much that can be shared if we have that. So we would want to make Africa the center of our foreign policy. Because Africa has been left behind, we must give the leadership that will allow resources to flow into Africa. Fortunately, the rest of the world, most of them are now developed in terms of infrastructure. People are looking forward to investing resources in Africa. All that we needed to do to ensure that there is stability, peace, and good leadership and good governance in the countries of Africa. Beyond that, we would like to see a world that is at peace, because it's only in peace that the rest of mankind can develop. And therefore, strategically, Africa will link up with those who love Africa.
Okay.
In such a way that we relate excellently. We know the power centers of the world, and Africa will definitely relate with those who...
Okay, Prof, I know we're in the last minutes of this program. Will you be able to work with other presidential candidates of other parties if they want to team up with you?
Oh, yeah, I mean, teaming up is fine. We have no problem with that at all. Many of them are already talking to us. It hasn't moved as rapidly as we thought because of this unfortunate delay in the processes of me being certified as the candidate. Now that I'm certified as the candidate, many are already talking with us, and I welcome that solidarity any day, anytime, because Nigerians are totally, completely, and entirely fed up.
Okay, I will allow Nat, my friend, to ask you one question. Nat, your quick question.
Doctor, you are going to ask me a question too?
quickly.
I have two questions.
Oh, quickly.
The one challenge we are facing in Nigeria is this national cohesion. Nigeria is as divided today along ethnic, political, religious lines.
Okay, what's the second question?
The second question will be, you are a member of the Confab 2014. What are you going to do with that report?
Okay, yes, sir.
Well, I think you've already really answered your question. There's a sense in which I'm very, very privileged to be part of a number of solution conferences or committees and so on. So the resources, the reports, the ideas for implementing these things are already there. I think what has been happening is either a lack of understanding or lack of capacity or lack of competence to get things done. Because we do understand the issues, because we are part and parcel of the dynamics that produce those reports, I want to assure you that Mr. Do It Well, you know, that is my nickname. We shall do it well in the shortest possible time.
Professor Jerry Gana, it's been a pleasure appearing on Ben Television. You can be assured that your views have gone all worldwide. It's a global television unit outside here. And we thank you. We hope we'll still have you before the presidential election in February.
Oh, that will be fine. And then I would be able to, on that occasion, be able to emphasize in a very profound way a program which will have a lot of reconciling the peoples of Nigeria.
Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Gana. We are very grateful for having you.
Very much. And you know what marks us out, and that's why Nigerians are excited of my coming on board, that over these years, nearly 40 years in government, in and out of government, you know, unstinted integrity.
All right.
Honest and integrity.
I'm sure Nigerians will remember you for that.
Is back with integrity and credibility and capacity and ability and whatever it takes to move the nation forward. Please tell Nigeria, give me a chance.
All right. I hope Nigerians have listened to you, and I'm sure international leaders across the world have listened to you as well, and they will have taken note of you as a potential, and especially when he wants to cooperate with others. Nat, time has gone, and what else will you tell our viewers as we come to rounding up right now?
Well, as I keep saying, all hands must be on deck.
Yeah.
We are not talking of next month. Before we know, we'll be talking of next week.
Yeah.
Presidential elections and national.
Do you envisage it will be postponed like that of DRC was postponed?
There is no reason to postpone our elections.
Have people collected their PVC? We understand that many people are not collecting their PVC.
Yeah, some PVCs are still outstanding.
Okay, yeah. And not some, millions of PVC, well, which means millions will not go and vote, and therefore we will not know the true reflection of the people. That's how far we can go today. It's been a pleasure having you at Ben Television as we get closer to the presidential elections and other elections. We'll be bringing those ones to come and tell you so that you can make an informed opinion. At the end of the day, you will decide, but we will present them all and we will try and make an analysis for you. We were talking about the Funtua and Keystone and Etisalat. We will take it up next week. We will not disappoint you. Ben Television is here to stay and will bring the best. My name is Shegun Johnson. Starring with me is Nat Iyakwo. God bless you and enjoy 2019. It's meant for you. God bless you. Bye-bye.